In 327 BCE, one of the most formidable war machines in human history reached the banks of the Jhelum River in ancient India. When an army of this scale sweeps across a continent, they typically leave behind footprints and scorched earth. But in this case, a destructive military campaign accidentally built a bridge that lasted longer than the occupation itself. The battle that followed pitted the disciplined, high-density formations of the Greek phalanx against a terrifying, specialized defense, charging war elephants of the Indian king Peru. Alexander the Great secured the victory that day, but the encounter avoided a total collapse of the local order. Brought before Alexander, King Peru was asked how he wished to be treated. He answered, like a king. Bravery on that level impressed Alexander enough that he allowed Peru to continue ruling his own kingdom. This clash at the Jhelum River acted as the violent catalyst for a permanent connection between the Eastern and Western worlds. Alexander's soldiers were actually exhausted and homesick, forcing his retreat. Yet his departure did not create a political vacuum. He installed satraps, provincial governors tasked with managing the newly conquered territories in the northwest. These Greek administrators lived alongside local Indian rulers, creating a hybrid system where two different political traditions occupied the same space. Rather than remaining isolated, these administrative nodes interacted constantly, establishing a shared framework for law and commerce. This structural layer of satraps ensured that a permanent administrative bridge remained, even after the conquering armies had marched home. We can track this interaction through physical artifacts that are still visible today. The Indo-Greek school of art emerged from this contact, applying Mediterranean sculpting techniques to traditional Indian religious subjects. Look at the clothing on this statue of the Buddha. While the figure is Indian, the draped, heavy folds of the robe are a hallmark of Greek Hellenistic style. This history was also stamped into metal. Coins from the period depict Greek cavalrymen in direct combat with Indian war elephants, recording the collision of cultures on currency. These statues and coins demonstrate how two cultures moved beyond simple coexistence to actively synthesize their identities. While statues are tangible, the trade routes also carried a lighter, invisible cargo: ideas. In Greece, Aesop's fables told stories of animals with human virtues, like a clever fox cautiously approaching a sick and resting mighty lion. At the same time, the ancient Indian Panchatantra used native animals to teach the same moral lessons, including a blue jackal encountering a mighty lion. The similarity in these moral tales suggests that philosophies were traveling as quickly as merchants across the border. Intellectual exchange even happened at the highest levels. Alexander famously sought out the gymnosophists, or Indian sages, to debate the nature of life and death. This meeting of minds shows how the conqueror paused to learn from local wisdom, altering the internal thought processes of both cultures alongside their political borders. Alexander's physical empire in India was short-lived, but the momentum of his arrival continued for centuries. The routes established during the invasion became permanent conduits for trade. Indian spices moved west, while Greek administrative and artistic concepts moved east. It is a historical paradox that destructive military movements can accidentally string disparate parts of the world into a single connected network. That single invasion across the Jhelum eventually changed regional art, coinage, and storytelling across thousands of miles. These shared fables and specific artistic styles remain the evidence of the moment two distant worlds pulled each other into a shared history.